Good afternoon from Fox Bend Golf Course in Oswego, Illinois. You're watching live streaming coverage of the third annual Chicago Adaptive Open Golf Championship. It's the final day of this 36-hole event. 84 competitors spread out over 15 different classifications of impairment. Final round pairings went off the number 1 and number 10 tees as scheduled in spite of a little rain overnight. And we are off and running on the final day of this event. My name is Dan Roan. I'm joined by CDGA Senior Director of Communication, Tim Merrick. It is great to have you with us. Eric Ciotti and Casey Richards will be out on the golf course covering the event for us. And, well, more rain, Tim, but we finally gotten through it. There have been a few alterations made because of the weather, and we'll get to those as we move along, but on schedule and ready to go.
Yep, some rain overnight, as you mentioned, we needed even more of that here in the Chicago district, but happy to have this round underway as scheduled. As you see on the screen there, Fox Bend is playing to a par 72, 36-36. We'll have the gold tees set to just over 5,000 yards, the white tees just a shade under 6,000 yards, and the green tees just north of 6,000 yards. So again, as you mentioned, Dan, some modifications to this final round. It will be a lift, clean, in place round here this afternoon, and all bunkers will be ground under repair due to the amount of water that we received overnight. But nevertheless, the weather has cooperated this afternoon. We've got sunshine and, once again, some breezy conditions.
Tremendous work by the crew here at Fox Bend to get this course ready for the opening round of play on Friday for the Pro-Ams. There were tree limbs all over the place, and the golf course was very close to being closed on Friday. Instead, both Pro-Ams went off without a hitch. The opening round yesterday also in the same, and we're ready to go here in round two, the final of this 36-hole event, third annual Chicago Adaptive Open, and the live stream is a collaboration between the CDGA and CGN, the College Golf Network.
As you see on the screen here, we will be awarding winners across 15 sports classifications through this adaptive golf community, as well as overall champions in the men's, women's, and senior divisions. So as you take a bird's eye view of some of the holds here at Fox Bend, just try and familiarize yourself with some of these sports classifications. Again, we have some limb impairments, some mental disabilities, as well as some vision impairment as well. So everybody is out on the golf course. Everybody's looking to make the turn here, and we're happy to bring you back nine coverage of this final round.
Eric Ciotti is with us on course at hole number 12, which is a par 3 over some water, a tough little hole with a very tricky green to deal with. That one's got a lot of back to front slope, and if you get beyond the hole, it's a very tricky putt coming back down the slope.
That's right. Eric will be out on the 12th hole for us as we get some groups prior to these final groups here, just playing through the 12th hole. Happy to have you alongside here at Fox Bend as we get our crew in position. Again, as you said, 84 golfers here competing across this championship. We've got representation from all across the U.S. We've got some international flavor here as well. So happy to have this third annual event coming to a close here this afternoon. Again, we've got 2 rounds. We've got a Pro-Am, as you mentioned, Dan, but it takes a village to put this together, and we'll be sure to highlight all the people that made this effort possible, and this day is just such a success as we progress through this final round.
There are certainly a lot of people helping out, no doubt about that, and we had some good scores in the opening round yesterday, headed by Jordan Thomas, who leads the men's overall category at this point, almost midway through his round today. Shot 70, 2 under par yesterday, and has played the opening 9 holes today at even par as well.
Yeah, Dan had the chance to speak with Jordan following his round yesterday, and despite the 2 under 70, as many golfers at this level do, had some stuff to work on the range afterwards. So he's in a good position there. As you see, currently a 4-shot lead over Issa Larev, who we were all familiar with from last year. We've got Josh Williams representing Canada there at +2 as well. We've got Evan Mathias of Indianapolis, Indiana, and Ford Martin of Nashville, Tennessee, both there at +4. And then Ricky Riley rounding out the top 5 at +5.
Ford Martin is our defending champion, and we'll see plenty of him as we move along this afternoon. Women's overall, Kim Moore is having a tournament, isn't she, Tim?
She is. She's no stranger to adaptive golf tournaments, having won the women's overall championships in both the 22 and 25 U.S. Adaptive Opens. So Kim playing well here this afternoon. We've got a couple of other women there. As you see, Cassie Sengel at +13. We've got Daniela Belford, again, representing New Zealand there, as well as a host of others rounding out the top 5.
And in the senior division, Mark Sissom, our defending champion in that category, looks like he's going to win in a runaway right now. He's got a 10-shot lead as he plays along here this afternoon. He's just past the halfway point in his final round.
Yeah, Mark coming off the heels of winning the inaugural Missouri Adaptive Championship last October. So, again, won the senior men's division last year here in the Chicago Adaptive Open and followed that up with a win there in the fall. So happy to have Mark back and competing well again.
You'll see some amazing athletes this afternoon. We've talked about Jordan Thomas, who's our leader at 2 under par. Jordan lost both his legs as a teenager in a boating accident and shot 2 under par 70 yesterday. A tall guy, 6'5", hits the ball a mile, and after his accident, thought that he could try and do something good out of a situation that was certainly bleak at the time. And what he did was open a foundation that helps people who need them find prosthetics. And that is ongoing to this day. So kudos to Jordan Thomas, a big heart and a big golf game as well.
Yeah, like I said, mentioned yesterday, had the chance to speak with him and looked him straight in the eyes when we talked, standing at 6'5" myself. So nice to see him. And as you mentioned, started the Jordan Thomas Foundation at just 16 years old following that accident. Was in the hospital, saw how many children didn't have access to prosthesis like he did, and as you'll hear throughout this round, has made such a good situation out of some bad circumstances.
It's a nice look at number 12 here at Fox Bend, running along Ogden Avenue there, just to the north. Relatively short par 4 or par 3, I should say, with that kidney-shaped green. And once again, this is a pin that you do not want to get behind because the ball races off the front of this green. So everybody will be trying to keep the ball close, but underneath the hole here at 12.
Yeah, exactly. Measuring at just 145 yards today. But as we've mentioned yesterday, and we'll be discussing throughout the day today, that breeze and that gust is going to be picking up. So it'll be interesting to see how the competitors play this hole there. The green tees, again, 145 yards. The whites will be 135, and the golds at just 100 yards. But short, but surely definitely difficult as well. As we get this final round underway, we are going to be highlighting a lot of our sponsors and partners who, as we've said, have made this event kick off with such grace and get everything in position and successful here to start. Verticat being one of those, a head sponsor of a lot of these adaptive golf carts that some of these seated players require to play the golf course, and we're appreciative of their efforts in helping us get this underway. So here on 12, we'll have the group here of Ricky Riley from Syracuse, New York. Looks like we'll have Dawson Thompson from Pascagoula, Mississippi, and Tyler Cashman from Gold Canyon, Arizona. So again, as we mentioned, a short little par 3 here, but as you can see, these competitors will be looking to see what the best strategy is. That pin there towards the back, kidney-shaped green as we run along Ogden Avenue.
I think it'll help everybody today, and you don't want to see this, but with the bunkers being out of play, called ground under repair, so free drop from the bunkers. I mean, again, the grounds crew has done such an incredible job of getting this place ready to go. They finally had to throw in the towel on the bunkers. There was just too much rain on top of everything else from last night to make the bunkers playable. So they're out of play for today. Would have been certainly a hazard on this hole.
Yeah, for sure. As Ricky Riley looks like to be the first to stick a peg in the ground here and get his tee shot underway. Oh, excuse me.
I believe that's Dawson Thompson.
Yep. But again, as you mentioned, some rain overnight. The tee times this morning did get underway under some rain droplets, but things have calmed down a little bit. We've got some blue, sunny skies, some clouds overhead, and this tournament's coming down to the wire. So it looks like Dawson Armstrong's tee ball's away. Keeping a steady eye on that one.
Awfully smooth swing.
And now Ricky Riley will be next to play. Dan, one of the questions we asked each competitor to fill out prior to competing in this championship is if they've ever had a hole-in-one, and Ricky said he's come very close, but none yet on the record, so would be nice to see one go in for him here.
Yeah, a lot of the responses, Tim, have been like, not yet. So everybody's looking forward to a chance, and here's one at the par 3 12 for Ricky Riley.
That one looks like it's just passed and left the flag stick there, so on the putting surface for Ricky.
Yeah, that's a really good shot and a chance for birdie for him. That's going to be a quick one, though.
Dan, like you said, most players in this field come into golf in a variety of different ways. Ricky himself said he took it up while during the COVID period there, so taking up the game and taking it more seriously within the last few years.
This is Tyler Cashman on the tee. Tyler living in Tucson, Arizona right now. Pretty quick to pick up that tee.
Yeah, looks like that one came up just short of the putting surface.
But a good place to leave it, right back up the hill.
Dan, we've talked about the golf course and the maintenance crew getting this in tip-top shape for these competitors. You played in the Pro-Am on Friday, excuse me, and I know you mentioned these green surfaces as being in great condition. Just touch on that a little bit.
Well, you know, this is a course that sees probably 35,000 rounds. It's a Park District facility. Terrific golf course. So it's really fun to play. But, yeah, I thought the highlight of the entire property was the greens. I thought they were absolutely terrific. And yesterday, maybe running a little quicker than some of the players had hoped. I think they were pretty close to 11.5 yesterday. And that's pretty fast for a group that's used to probably a little bit slower pace on the green. So, yeah, they're good. And I imagine they're a little bit softer and slowed down a bit because of the weather overnight and early this morning. But, yeah, they're in great shape, really very puttable and a great golf course, a great test for these players.
Yeah, this course constructed by, a Chicago District's own Wadsworth Golf Construction. And then talking with Jordan Thomas, our men's overall leader yesterday, he echoed those sentiments. Greens were amazing. They were rolling fast and really receptive. So probably even more receptive today as there's a good chip by Cashman. Wanted that one to go a little bit closer to the hole, but we'll have a look at par. It looks like Armstrong's there kind of tucked right next to that collar.
I hate that shot. Right up next to the back collar. Second cut.
Definitely a tricky one here. Kind of have to stab down at it a little bit to get it going, as you see there.
A little bit too much spin on that ball. Again, that's a pretty severe uphill. So Thompson has some left for his par. Meantime, Ricky Riley is lining up a putt for birdie from beyond the pin.
As we've touched on, 15 sports classifications will all be receiving prizes here by the end of the day, and it looks like Ricky Riley and Dawson Thompson are both at +7 to par here, so battling for that G14 sports classification title. And while Ricky lines up this putt, we're going to go out live to Eric Ciotti.
Guys, this is a very fast putt. This is arguably one of the fastest greens on the entire golf course. He's really going to need to be careful with the speed here.
That one just short right there for Ricky. Excited to have Eric Ciotti on board for the on-course reporting this year. Eric, no stranger to providing coverage as a member of the Big Ten Golf Network, providing coverages of the NCAA championships and the Big Ten championships as well. So looking forward to his insight out there on the course. As Armstrong and his caddy eye up this putt.
He left himself some real estate here. It's not going to be an easy putt. It should go a bit from right to left. Or maybe I just misread the putt I had on Friday, Tim, which is entirely possible.
Thompson eyes this up. And that one runs just by for the Mississippi State University grad. Speaking of hole-in-one, Dan, Thompson says here on his player information form that he did have a hole-in-one just last year. So he'll clean up with that putt there and move on to the next as Cashman looks to get up and down for par. Looked like he was playing more of a left to right break there and just skims the left side.
Now Riley with a little bit more than a tap in for his par. That ball went pretty hard left to right. So this is for par and actually to take the lead in his category. And there it is. Solid 3 for Ricky Riley and a one-shot lead in the G14 category.
Well, we have a moment. Want to thank one of our sponsors, Altair Wealth Guidance for Life. Appreciate their support of the 3rd annual Chicago Adaptive Open. Appreciate their support of not only this event, but adaptive golf as a whole as well. So appreciate Altair. Dan, we've got the next group here. We've got Evan Mathias teeing his ball up here from Indianapolis, Indiana. That one front left of the putting surface there. Mathias currently even on the day, sitting at +4 for the championship.
Evan's a long hitter. I watched him on the 8th hole earlier this morning, and he really banged one out around the corner of a dog leg. He likes to talk to his golf ball, which is always interesting if you're a spectator out there. And speaking of which, there's still plenty of time to come out and watch some of these people in person. If you're in the area and don't have anything to do this afternoon, it's quite the show to watch some of these athletes play.
Danny Weissman here now hits his tee shot. That one appears to be short left of the putting surface. Danny from East Lansing, Michigan. And the final of this trio is as the aforementioned Mark Sissom.
Our defending senior champ, well on his way to defending his title.
Really played that tee ball to the left side of the tee box there.
Just on the edge, that's good. Very good spot. I think Mark's pretty happy with that one. Scott City, Missouri is where Mark hails from. His low score, shot in 2019, 63.
Not too bad.
There are so many of these athletes who have shot scores that are hard to imagine. I mean, he shot 63 in June of 2019. It was also 10 years after his motorcycle accident, which cost him his leg. So he's adapted very well and killing it out there today. All right, we'll step aside for a moment, come back with more coverage from the 3rd annual Chicago Adaptive Open.
3 or 4 years ago, I noticed that my left hip was hurting. Someone personally recommended a doctor here in town who's with IBJI. Within 12 days, I was walking without a cane, without a walker, without anything, and without pain. That was the big thing.
Illinois Bone and Joint Institute's top orthopedic experts help you move better, live better. For more information, visit IBJI.com.
Back here live at the 12th hole here at Fox Bend Golf Course. Again, just want to say thank you to Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, as you saw there, for being the presenting sponsor of this event. With their help, we've been able to increase the purse size now to $30,000 spread across the overall champions as well as the 15 sports classifications. As Wiseman looks to set this up, we'll send this out to Eric on the green.
Off the left, blowing into the player's face. So as you see that drop off on the right-hand side, we've seen a number of players end up kind of short and right. It takes them, they have to hit a very hard putt to get back up the slope. Ricky Riley hit one of the best shots I've seen all day today on this 12th hole. So anything that you can get inside of 15 feet on this hole is an excellent shot. Just trying to walk away with a 3 at this point and try to find the opportunity to get close to the hole if you can.
Good insight there from Eric.
Yeah, that pin is diabolical in the fact that you don't want to miss left and you don't want to miss really much past the hole either.
Wow, superb shot there. Not a lot of green to work with. Popped that right in the air and that ball sat. So good by Weissman to have a shot at par. As Evan Mathias there in the red polo and Mark Sissom in the visor look to survey their birdie attempts.
It's a pretty good look for Evan.
Yeah, as we mentioned, Evan is even for the day. Has notched 2 birdies and 2 bogeys. Currently in solo 5th in the men's overall division. As that cuts across just short of the hole there for Evan. We'll leave just a tap in for par. Sporting one of those fancy blue lab putters.
Having a very good day so far. One of the best rounds ongoing on the golf course. Now Mark Sissom trying to roll one in for birdie.
Just leaves that short and right, but an easy. And I think on this hole, I think many people today will take an easy tap in par and move on.
Yeah, pars are good, as we all know. And on a hole that can be as tricky as this one, yeah, par is definitely a good score here.
Someone wishing to take par and move on here is Daniel Weissman after that remarkable chip. As we said, not a lot of green to work with from that left side, and he's given himself a pretty good look. As we saw, Ricky Riley was in a similar line, a similar position, and the putt did break, so we'll see if Weissman can read it himself.
That pitch shot was probably, at least in some degree, the result of the softer greens we had from the overnight rain. But a great shot nonetheless, and now putting for par, and he's got it. That's a great up and down.
World-class up and down there for Weissman. Fist bump with the caddy, and he'll move on to the 13th tee. Now we've come down to the final 2 pairings or groupings here, making the turn and approaching this par 3 12th. This next trio is going to consist of Issa Lareb, Ford Martin, and Matt Snowden. Ford Martin, as you may remember, the champion in the playoff last year, defeating Victor Postilion. And while Ford Martin looks to get a good yardage for this hole, we want to thank Focus Consulting Group for their support of the 3rd annual Chicago Adaptive Open. Appreciate their support of not only the event, but the adaptive golf community here in the Chicago district.
Ford Martin, a winner in a playoff here a year ago. He and his wife are figuring out how to deal with a new baby. He's a commercial real estate developer, and has done a lot with his platform. Goes back at Georgetown Prep every year to present the Ford Martin Award to a senior lacrosse player. Also, the Ford Martin Award for courage and perseverance in the face of adversity.
As you see there, Issa Lareb, and we'll be sure to highlight that story of his as we highlighted last year, but just got word here in scoring that Issa did eagle the par 5 10th. So he sits 3 shots back of leader Jordan Thomas, but a good start to his back 9 for Issa. If you were with us yesterday, I did mention that Ford Martin, no stranger to quality golf courses such as this, as he is a former club champion at Congressional Country Club.
So if you wonder whether or not this guy can play, that's one of our iconic venues in the United States, and to be the club champion there tells everybody he's got some serious game, and we found that out last year. Born with a club foot, Tim, and some other issues with his other foot.
Seem to have that tee ball away. Just sure we'll get a better look once we get up to the green. And again, Issa coming off that eagle on number 10. Just an incredible story. A native of Cameroon, currently calls France home. We'll get into that a little bit as he preps. But the third member of this group is Matt Snowden from Annapolis, Maryland.
Matt opened with 75 yesterday. He is 3 over on his round today, so +6 for the event. Taking a long look at this one. They've come up just a little short.
Yeah, seems to be the trend here again with these gusting winds, and it's kind of difficult to judge which club to use. But as we mentioned, Issa Lareb, former competitive player prior to his diagnosis and his circumstances, contracted bacterial meningitis while playing in Egypt and lost both legs and all but 2 fingers. So interesting to see him wrap that hand on, and sits just 3 shots back of the leader for the overall championship.
He didn't appear to be too happy with that, and I believe he came up a little short and right. Looked like he may have fatted that one a bit.
Just a bit, but I think he'll be happy regardless of the reaction that that thing is dry and not wet.
Dry and with a nice uphill chip,
Yes.
So you know you could miss it in worse places than that. We've seen a couple of guys do that already today. So this group is off and headed for the green, and we'll see if we can get somebody to make a birdie here. We haven't had a birdie yet at 12.
Not yet, and as you said, we've come down to the last 2 pairings that have won off the first tee. And for how these players will play their approaches and their putts here, let's throw it over to Eric.
Guys, both Issa and Ford Martin are short and right. You guys talked about the difficulty of that uphill pitch shot. There's a couple of issues at play here. One, you've got to hit it hard enough to get it up that slope, but you don't want to run it too far past, leaving yourself that tricky downhill putt coming back for par. So we'll see how they navigate these shots.
Good perspective there from Eric. Again, a relatively short par 4 by today's standards, just at 145. But again, with these gusts, and you'd think with these receptive greens, they'd play a little bit easier. But coming down the stretch of a championship like this, nothing's really that easy.
No, and it's considerably different today than it was yesterday in terms of the weather. I mean, it's cloudy today, much cooler than it was yesterday, probably by about 15 degrees. And the wind is blowing from a different direction than it did yesterday. It was more northwest yesterday after blowing from the south and the west earlier in the week. And now it's kind of coming out of the northeast, which changes it up just a little bit for these guys. You can see there's a lot of water between the green and the tee box here at 12.
Yeah, again, I think anything dry and over that water area is going to be a nice shot today. As Ford pitches up that hill, as Eric was saying, how much do you bite off in terms of getting that up close without going too far past that whole location?
It does run away once you get past the hole, so you have to be careful and maybe a little too cautious there for Ford.
Still an uphill putt, though. As we go over to Issa again, chipping up, and he seems to be more closer to pin high there. So it'll be interesting to see the way with which that putt's going to break.
That one should have a little bit of right to left in it.
As Snowden lines up his birdie attempt. As we said, since we've come on air here about half an hour ago, no birdies yet on the 12th. What do you say we get one right here?
A little bit more mustard on that one. Snowden just did birdie number 10 after going out in 4 over par 40. So trying to get himself back into this a little bit.
As you see the men's overall leaderboard there, Jordan Thomas playing in the group behind this one on your screen, sitting at 3 under par. Issa's back to even with the eagle on the par 5 10th. We've got Ford Martin here sitting at +2. Josh Williams at +2. Evan Mathias at +4. And Victor Postilian in that final group as well, sitting at +5. So as we said, Ford Martin, and as Eric mentioned, don't want to go too far at this whole location before it trails off on the backside. And we saw both Wiseman here, or Snowden, excuse me, and Ford Martin come up a little short, just being overly cautious of that whole location. Ford again, the 2025 Chicago Adaptive Open champion. And that one was pulled and low. Fortunately not how Ford would like that.
2 under par for his round today, but that's going to cost him one. And Issa Lareb now lining up his putt for par. Issa 3 under par for the day after that eagle on 10.
Yeah, had a bogey there early on the par 3 second, but made up for it with birdies on 5 and 7, and then, as you mentioned, that eagle 3 on number 10. So starting this back 9 strong. Issa, a big player in that final round in 2025. Unfortunately, just missed out on that playoff with Ford Martin and Victor Postilian, but looking to make his name here late in the second round.
We've talked a lot about him to encapsulate what his story is. Born in Cameroon, homeless from age 11 to 17, hustled at a golf course selling golf balls, finally caddying and then learning how to play. Turned professional, then contracted bacterial meningitis. It cost him both legs and most of the fingers on both hands. And he just slid it by on the low side, so a bogey here with that tap in for Lareb will cost him and send him back to +1 for the tournament and 4 shots behind the lead.
Again, a rather benign par 3 here, but you throw in water, you throw in the pressure of a final round, you throw in where this whole location is, and it's providing some difficulties for these players. Ford Martin calls Nashville, Tennessee home, and as we'll learn about here in the future, in this last group, Jordan Thomas, the leader, also from Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, Ford for bogey and did not get it. That's going to drop him back a wee bit. Settles for 5 here after a 3-putt double.
Yeah, so that's going to put Ford Martin back to +4 overall. Not the outcome he was looking for, but some holes left to make that up for sure. And Matt Snowden taps in for his par, so good to take a par and move on for Snowden, the native of Annapolis, Maryland.
Oh no, Issa for bogey and missed it. Had a good piece of the hole, but did not go down, and that'll be a double bogey 5 for Issa Lareb. Drops him back to -1 for the day and +2 for the tournament. Jordan Thomas now has a 5-stroke lead as he heads up to the number 12 tee.
And you get our first look of Jordan Thomas again. Shot a 2 under 70 in round 1 And speaking with him yesterday, just a superb individual. And while he looks to hit his tee shot, we want to thank Klingon, Callow, and McLean LLC for their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open. And Thomas uses that frame and actually flies that past. I'm not sure if the gust of wind came up there or club selection, but that'll be difficult, as Eric mentioned. Past that hole location is tends to trail off.
I'm guessing that was just a missed club, Tim. The wind is mostly cross on this hole from left to right, so he just had a little bit too much pipe there and blew it over the green, and that will be a really tough pitch from beyond.
The last of this trio, Josh Williams, representing Canada here. And as you mentioned, club selection super important on this hole. And it looks like Josh is going to swap his weapon here to utilize on this par 3.
Josh Williams currently 3rd overall in the men's division, +1 for the event, 1 under par today.
Tee ball away, and that looks to be on the front left part of that putting surface. So again, just so super important to get club selection, ball flight, where your miss is going to be on this par 3. As Victor Castilian looks to get in place for his tee ball.
Victor from Winfield, Illinois, went to DePaul to play on the golf team. Unfortunately, was stricken with cancer during his freshman season and lost a good portion of the use of his left leg. So Victor has continued on to play golf, actually played in the Illinois State Amateur Qualifier here at Fox Bend earlier this week. Kind of a practice round for him for this event.
Yeah, our comms team here had the chance to speak with Victor following the round yesterday, and just said he was really happy with it considering the wind. The course was playing long, and as you mentioned, competing in the Illinois State Amateur Qualifier or in the week, he utilized that round and seeing that caliber of play, and it kind of helped him dial in. So hopefully looking to utilize that knowledge and the rounds played here as ammunition on the back 9.
He's going to have to get up and down for par here. For the day, Victor is +5 after shooting even par 72 yesterday. So he's 5 over for the event and 8 shots behind our leader, Jordan Thomas.
Yeah, getting word from Eric out there before we send it out that Thomas's lie is not very good on the backside of the green. So will be a difficult chip. As you see, a lot of it runs back and left of that kidney-shaped green, and it will be difficult for him to get up and down. Before we step up to that, we're going to throw it over to Casey Richards, who has Russell Aid, winner of the G5 sports classification.
Best. I mean, I was ahead by 1 stroke, so I knew coming into it I would have to, fend them off from behind and mostly, keep the shots in play as best as I could. My putting was pretty good today.
You're a native Canadian living currently in Tucson, competing for the Arizona Adaptive Golf Team. What's that experience been like for you so far?
It's been great. I mean, I'm on a team. It's been a great team atmosphere, and we're just going around playing tournaments like this. It's a lot of fun. It's a great experience.
This was your first time playing in the Chicago Adaptive Open. What did you think of the experience overall?
I loved it. Everyone here is great. It was amazingly run, and the amenities, all the stuff they have, the course has been excellent. I was really surprised because it rained so much, and the course really dried out the next day. Got right to playing. It was awesome.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
had opened with a round of 82, improved by a couple of shots today, shot 80, and won his classification by 2 shots. So, yeah, again, congratulations to him. And we'll be bringing you the rest of the champions in the various categories as we move along here this afternoon.
Yeah, and Casey mentioned they're part of the adaptive golf team at Arizona. Part of a new initiative this year with the Click Pearl Cup. Some of you may see on the live scoring link there. We'll get into some of the details of that, but essentially some teams representing Arizona, Illinois, Indiana, as well as Michigan. So I'm happy to have Russell here as part of the Arizona team and happy to have that tournament within a tournament part of this event.
That is the shot from behind the green. Jordan Thomas has already hit his approach shot. We were kind of waiting for Victor Postillion to hit his, but Thomas came up on the green and got there. You can see his ball just a little bit to the right there.
As he puts a coin on it, and a good chip up there for Postillion. Just runs left of that hole location, but as we've seen, none of these short little 3 to 5 footers have been easy on this hole, so it'll be interesting to see how Victor approaches this par attempt. Jordan Thomas making his debut in this event. Has qualified for the 26 U.S. Adaptive Open. As a fellow Canadian to Russell aid, Josh Williams will also look to get his birdie attempt up the hill.
Little left to right breaker and settle down there.
There's a little bit left on that par attempt there.
Another nervous 3-footer coming up, and we've seen a bunch of those so far.
Yeah, Thomas super responsive with the greens there, and for a better look as we get Jordan Thomas's putt here, let's send it out to Eric Ciotti up on the green.
Guys, he did really well to get this short of the hole. I didn't think he had any chance to be able to do that. His putt doesn't have a lot of break to it, but it can be very fast. It looks like it might break a little bit from his left to right.
That is a big time save.
I think, Dan,
for our leader,
he was
Jordan
seeing what
Thomas.
Eric saw for sure, and a big, as you mentioned, par save to maintain his status atop the men's overall leaderboard. Going from a bad lie there over the green, as we discussed, potentially club selection an issue there, but takes par, and he's going to run away with that to the next tee box. Good to see Williams finish up with his par as well. As Postillion here looks to tap in. Again, as you mentioned, diagnosed with bone cancer, and as part of his treatment, ultimately had to have his sciatic nerve cut. And a good tap in there for Victor.
Well, after a nervous moment or two, everybody winds up with par here at number 12. Our final group is through. 6 holes left. And Jordan Thomas continues to lead by 4 shots over Josh Williams. Issa Lareb is 5 behind now, and Ford Martinez following 7 off the lead.
So we move to the par 4 13th here. A little bit of a dog leg left. Green tees measuring at 385 yards, the whites at 354 yards, and the gold at 280.
Not a lot of trouble on this hole. There's no bunkering on this green. Not that that would make a difference today because we're playing those as ground under repair, but a fairly benign, slight dog leg to the left. Certainly a birdie opportunity for some of these big hitters, and that would include almost everybody in this group. These three can all get it down their ways.
Yeah, hole location today situated 17 on and 6 from the right. So definitely scoreable. We'll see how this final group takes it into consideration. While we have a moment, I want to thank Big Ten Events for their continued support of the Chicago Adaptive Open. Appreciate some of the on-site usage of their tents here this week. Looks like Thomas is going less than driver here. Maybe a fairway metal. As we mentioned, has some length. Appeared to be happy with that one as a quick tee pickup.
You know, if you're in Jordan's position now with 6 holes left and a 4-shot lead, you're not necessarily trying to go out there and shoot a low score or make a lot of birdies. You're trying to protect that lead. So middle of the fairway, anywhere near 150 yards or so in is a pretty good shot for him.
Yeah, sits, as you see there, quickly in the middle of the fairway. So good for Jordan Thomas. Again, 2 birdies to just 1 bogey today. So as you mentioned, with as big of a lead as he currently has over Josh Williams, he'll be next to tee off. Just keeping this ship steady and straight is probably his MO. Williams away there with driver. Seems to be up the right side. Not sure if that's in the fairway or the rough, but as we mentioned, dogleg left, so should have an angle to hit his approach onto the green.
Yeah, there is a tree over there on the right that kind of protects the green a little bit if you head out to that side of the fairway, but I think he's past that and should be in pretty good shape. Driver as well for Victor Postillion, 3rd member of the group.
Victor representing Team Illinois here as part of that Click Pearl Cup we mentioned earlier. Keeping a watchful eye on that one. But
Left center of the fairway. That's perfect for Victor Postillion. So tee shots away here at 13. Back with more coverage from Fox Bend and Oswego right after this.
Every golfer wants more from the game.
So
With a CDGA membership, you get a handicap index issued by the USGA, access to championship and social competitions, and trusted golf coverage that keeps you connected all season long. It's everything you need to play better and enjoy the game more. Learn more at cdga.org.
Yeah, now I can't hear myself.
It's okay.
back here on the 13th here at Fox Bend, as you get a look of the green there on this par 4. It looks like we had Victor and Jordan both in the fairway. Josh just on the right, as Dan mentioned, a tree might be blocking his approach, but this final group now on the 13th. As we've mentioned, Eric Ciotti following these final groups, and just got word from him that unfortunately Josh's lie is not the best. Dan, we talked about the difference between taking driver and maybe less than driver there for Jordan. Looks like Vic, with his driver, has just 93 yards in, but downwind. So going to be interesting to see how he plays that. But first, Josh Williams is going to attempt to play out of this unruly lie.
Yeah, for a left-hander, this one's a little uncomfortable. A dog leg to the left, and pretty easy to hit it through the dog leg if you're any kind of a hitter with length, which Josh Williams certainly is. So that got him in a little bit of trouble. Although we can see the ball, so it doesn't look like it's horrible, but tough to stop it near that back right pin, that's for sure.
Tough to stop it, and it looks like the wind is down on this hole. So judging your yardages, picking the right club is going to be paramount.
Got a shrug out of it, so we think it's okay. Maybe not great, but certainly not terrible.
As we go over to Victor, let's send it down to Eric Ciotti. Well, we have some technical difficulties with Eric there. Just want to show it looks like, as we said, Victor's got just 93 yards in. Downwind.
Very nice. Was able to get that to sit right down.
A good spin control there from Victor.
Dead pin high, maybe 10 or 12 feet with a good look at birdie.
So while Victor took driver and had 93 yards in, it looks like Jordan took fairway metal and has just 76 yards in. So as we talked about length, his stature definitely being of benefit here. You can take a metal, not force it with driver, and still have a little chip in here.
Terrific shot by Jordan Thomas. Flag hunting from 73 yards on this short par 4. And he will have a very good look at a birdie that would get him to 4 under for the tournament, 2 under for the day.
Dan, as you can see, that flag is just blowing straight down from that dog leg. So good by the 3 competitors here to get those not only on the green, but as you mentioned, get them to stop, spin control, leave themselves with good birdie looks. As these competitors walk up to the green. The final group here of the 3rd Chicago Adaptive Open.
The wind is not easy to negotiate today, Tim, but I think the cloud cover is helping to hold the moisture in. With no sun, we're not getting much drying, and it does make the greens more receptive. And we saw that with those shots there. Of course, you get a quality shot with the right amount of spin, you're going to get it to stop on most greens. But those were 2 terrific shots by Vic and by Jordan. And they'll have good birdie looks. And we'll see what Josh Williams can do with his.
Yeah, while these players look at and survey their upcoming putts, just want to give a shout out to Imagination Print and Design for their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open this year. Appreciate their support of not only this event, but the Chicago adaptive golf community as a whole. So
Josh Williams will be first to go, surveying what he has left. Eric is standing by near the green. Eric, what's going on?
Well, guys, all 3 of these players hit great shots, and this is a common theme that we've seen all weekend long, is that these downwind holes, even players hitting 3-woods on some occasions, are having just short flip chips and wedges into the greens. So Well done by all three of these players to give themselves an opportunity and a good look at birdie. This is probably one of the easiest hole locations on the golf course. Josh has an uphill putt, as does Victor. Jordan's putt is going to be a little bit more challenging, but overall, the green sits in a little bit of a valley here, so the wind shouldn't have much of an impact on these putts. So I would look for at least maybe one of these to find the bottom of the hole.
Good insight there from Eric as Josh Williams looks to capitalize on a pretty good shot again from that right side rough. As we've said here, Dan, a gusty winds and a step off there for Williams as a piece of looks like a tree limb or some branches or something roll across the green. So the green, excuse me. So step off, get right in the right mind space, and attempt this putt.
Online, a little short. Should be an easy 2-putt par for Josh Williams. And now we'll check out the birdie putts. I think Victor Postillion will be going first here. His putt is a little bit uphill, according to Eric, and really back there on the back of the green. I don't think it's going to do very much. It should be a relatively straight putt.
Again, as we come down to the final 9 of this 36-hole championship, just want to take your time with some of these putts. Make sure you get a good read, get some good pace on it, and give it your best effort.
There's a good look at what Postillion has left. Well done, Victor Postillion, with a birdie here at 13.
Well done by Vic to finish off that quality tee shot and quality wedge in. And speaking of wedges, in talking with Jordan Thomas yesterday, mentioned that he went to the range after the round to just find a couple feels. And one of those feels was he thought some of those controlled wedges in weren't up to his standard. So the wedges weren't up to standard, but that putt definitely was, as he knocks that in for his birdie and capitalizes on that. And Williams will finish in for par. So 2 birdies and a par in this final group of the 3rd Chicago Adaptive Open, as they will head to the 14th tee box.
Well played by that group there at 13. Jordan Thomas extending his lead. Now 4 under par for the tournament, 2 under for the day. And leading by 5 strokes over Josh Williams.
As Mark Sissom here on 15 tee. (15) playing as a par 3 today, and it looks to that Sissom has put his tee ball just pin high and left.
Yeah, that's a good shot. Kind of a tough pin there, right on the very front. And this hole also playing downwind, so not the easiest thing to do to get it to stop that close to the hole, but Sissom with a terrific shot.
Want to thank Party People Audio and Video for their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open. Appreciate their support of not only this event, but the adaptive golf community as a whole. So appreciate Party People Audio Video. Yeah, Dan was out on this hole earlier this morning, just kind of scoping out some of these hole locations, how the golf course was after the overnight rain, and this pin is tucked. It's just over a bunker there on the right side. So I think Mark kind of took his medicine there a little bit, kept it to the left, kept it pin high, give himself a look at birdie, take par, and move on.
Moving back to the 14th hole, par 4. And our leader, about to hit his opening tee shot here. Been a very solid day so far for Jordan Thomas. 1 bogey, 3 birdies, 2 under for the day, 3 under for the event. Actually now 4 under for the event, and another quick pickup of the tee. This guy is in control of his game, Tim.
I would say so, yes. And as we've said, don't have to do too much. As Evan Mathias up there playing on the par 3 15th with Mark Sissom. As we mentioned, some of these bunkers ground under repair, but before we see that, going to go back to Victor Postilion here. Dan, we're approaching the halfway point of June here, and it looks like Victor's put on another layer. So the ever-changing weather of Chicago is rearing its head here in the final round.
Yeah, I think we're in the 60s here. It's not exactly a warm day here in Oswego.
Humidity was up yesterday, but a somewhat pleasant day. But today, definitely, with the wind and the rains overnight, has cooled things off a bit.
Watch him stay down through that ball. Got a big bend of that right knee on that follow-through. Very solid striker of the ball.
Fist bump there with the caddy. I'm sure Victor's happy with that one. Looks to be just in the center cut there. Both tee balls there. It looks like Thomas and Postilion both in the fairway. And as we've mentioned, Thomas with that length. Again, it's no surprise he wanted to go work on those controlled wedges as he's going to be probably utilizing those a lot here down the stretch.
Yeah, I would say virtually on every hole or close to it. I mean, he can move it. Now, less than driver for Josh Williams here.
Keeping a watchful eye on it. But in the fairway for Josh as well. So
also in good shape. Pretty straightforward hole, this 14th. As we said, it's 375 at most, which is what this group is playing at 375. And another good birdie opportunity probably coming up for all 3 of these players.
Yep, and before we see those approaches, we're going to take a quick break.
If your hair could talk, it would probably say, "Thanks for saving time on a haircut at Great Clips." You checked in on the app, and boom, clean fade accomplished. The only question now is where to go show it off. Take it from your hair. Take your...
Welcome back to the 3rd Chicago Adaptive Open as we take a look here at the 14th hole.
Kind of similar to 13 in that it turns just a gentle bit to the left. There are some bunkers protecting this green, however. Again, the bunkers are out of play because of the inclement weather that we've had. The pin here, closer to the middle, a little bit off the left.
Yeah, it looks like it's just 17 on, 7 from the left. It's going to be all downhill. So we've got, looks like Eric has gotten us some yardages here. We've got Josh with an approach of 104 yards. Vic will have 90 in. Victor will have 90 in. And Jordan Thomas is just 83 yards again. So as we mentioned, those controlled wedges, and as we saw on 13, all downwind. So they managed that scenario pretty well on the previous hole. Let's see if they can do it again here.
Yeah, the numbers are almost identical to what they had on 13. So we should get another birdie opportunity or two here at the 14th. All these players trying to chase down Jordan Thomas, and it will not be easy as they're running out of holes.
Yeah, Thomas again with a 5-shot lead here with 13 holes played in this final round. But Williams, the second place competitor right now at +1. As he hits his approach. happy with that one.
Well, he's on the green, but he's quite a distance from the hole. So Postilion will be next. Again, just a little wedge in here.
Yeah, right around 90 yards for Victor. And this is typically when the nerves start to kick in, right? You know, this is a touchy-feely kind of shot, especially with the wind. It's going to test all of Postillion's skill here to get this on the green and give himself another look at birdie. It comes up just short of the putting surface there, so maybe took a little too much downward hit strike on that to get that. Comes up just short, but not a bad lead for Victor. As Thomas here flights that approach.
Thomas from 73 gets it back there a little closer to the flag, a little bit wide right and a little short of pin high, but probably doable.
While we have a moment when we want to send it back to Casey Richards, who is with Brock Leitner, the champion of the G9 sports classification.
Brock Littner, champion of the G9 sports classification, a Summerland, British Columbia native. Brock, how does it feel to come out on top in the G9 category?
Yeah, it feels good. Super excited. It was a challenge out there for sure. Greens ate me up, but super happy about it.
First Chicago Adaptive Open appearance. What have you thought of the experience so far?
I mean, we're in the Windy City. It was windy. Weather wasn't on our side, but amazing course, amazing tournament. Everyone involved was just phenomenal.
Well, congratulations on the victory, and we hope to see you next year.
Thank you so much. You definitely will.
We appreciate Brock making the trip down here, and obviously congratulations on winning his sports classification. And dropping a joke in there, as we've said, the last few years we've had some wind here, and yet again on the final round, the gusting winds are playing a major role in the final round of this championship.
Well, the weather is so much different this year than it was last year. Hot and dry last year in 2025, and quite the opposite here with a chilly breeze and wet grounds all over the place, and players kind of fighting through a little discomfort with the weather here. They were really battling the heat a year ago, and now we see Victor bundling up, and he's probably not the only one out there.
Yeah, the forecast this morning had some rain come in, which we saw, and that sun has peeked its head out a little bit here, but I would call it overcast skies for the most part. So, as you mentioned, not fully drying this course out as much as it would probably with the sun out, but just want to, again, give a shout out to the entire grounds crew and maintenance staff here for getting this course even playable, given the amount of rain we've received, not only this past week, but over the last month as a whole. So, as these players look up to eye their putts, we're going to send it back out to Eric Ciotti.
Guys, the wind has picked up considerably, and this they all came up to the green shaking their heads. I don't think they expected to come up this far short, knowing that it was downwind. You know, to see these players, none of the three got within 25 feet of the hole. Jordan was noticeably shaking his head as he was walking off the green. I think he did not expect the green to spin as much as it did downwind. So some very challenging putts upcoming.
Yeah, you throw on the competition and the nerves that might be coming down the stretch here, and you add in on top of that having to judge this wind. It's given these players even more of a reason to really strategize around the back nine at Fox Bend. Victor opting to go with the flat stick here.
Can't do much better than that. An easy par save for Victor Postillion from off the front. Good use of the putter, and that'll be an easy one for him.
Yeah, great judgment there on speed. Does it look like our leader here, Jordan Thomas from Nashville, Tennessee, is going to be the next to play. Looks like we might have a. Looks like Josh Williams might be away.
I think Josh is away. Oh, slammed it in the back of the cup. It bounced up in the air and stayed in. A terrific birdie 3 for Josh Williams. He moves to -2 for the day, even par for the event, and for the moment closes within 4 shots of the lead.
Yeah, felt left out of the birdie party in the last hole and joins it there on 14 as Thomas's putt is away.
Thomas a little bit shy on his birdie attempt, and he'll have to put a little work in on this one to keep from losing 2 shots.
Yep.
On Josh Williams. You also like about Jordan, Tim, is he plays fast.
Plays fast and knocks in his par putt there. But in talking with him yesterday, you know, as we've discussed throughout the broadcast yesterday and will as well today, just super appreciative of the adaptive golf community that has been cultivated out here.
You see these guys having a great time, congratulating each other for good shots. And, you know, it's just the camaraderie amongst the whole community is terrific to see. Everybody's rooting for everybody.
As you see a replay there of Josh Williams's putt had some steam on it and thankfully
Yes,
hit the back of the cup. And I think he might have asked Jordan, hey, you want to go pick that up? Pull a little Michael Greller, Jordan Thomas, or Jordan Spieth, excuse me, situation there. But as you mentioned, yes, this adaptive golf community, you're going to see people clapping for each other, fist bumping for each other. Just super appreciative of everybody coming out here. As we're going to go back up to the group that features Ford Martin, Issa Lareb, and Matt Snowden up on the 15th green. While we have a moment, I want to thank Vester Capital for their support of the 3rd Chicago Adaptive Open here at Fox Bend. Appreciate their help in getting this event underway and making it such a success. So thank you to Vester Capital. As Snowden from Annapolis, Maryland, looks to tap in his putt. And does.
Well done. Matt Snowden got off to a bit of a rocky start today, has calmed his game down and opened with 75 yesterday and is on pace to do the same here today. And now our defending champion trying to get it done here. Ford Martin from about 6 feet or so. Missed it on the left side. And again, a little bit left of that one. He's going to have to do some work to get that in. And that leaves us with Issa Lareb.
Yeah, Issa and Ford Martin both, as we saw earlier in the broadcast, double bogey the par 3 12th, but have gotten it back on track with back-to-back pars on 13 and 14. So we'll see how Issa finishes up here on the par 3 15th. Has just a few feet here as you'll get a good look at how this ball may break.
Be a right edge putt, and it is right in the bottom. Issa Lareb knocks his in, and now Ford Martin with a pretty healthy comebacker after that opening putt. Not exactly sure, Tim, what Ford is putting for.
He does knock it in, but yes, we will be sure to update the audience here on what that putt was for. Again, the par 3 15th there, that flag is tucked right over that bunker. So we'll be sure to update you on what those putts were for.
Back on the tee, the birdie man surveying the scene. Josh Williams after that bomb that he made back on 14. Hoping to make it back-to-back birdies here at the par 3.
As you see Josh set up here in between the green tees, playing about 140 today. Since we've seen this group on the broadcast, pretty consistent play across these three. As we mentioned, a couple birdies in the last few holes, have been finding fairways and greens, so we'll see if that continues on the par 3 15th. Keeping a watchful eye on that one. Appears to be in a similar spot as we saw earlier with Mark's system. Just get it over those bunkers, put it on the green, and battle it in from there.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shot. I'm sure Jordan Thomas would like to lay one down right next to that one.
And a common theme we've seen here is just club selection, right, Dan? It's just what can put you, as we saw with Jordan on the 12th, playing it over that green there on the backside. Yardages, you can get a yardage, but it's all about feel with this wind and what's going to put you on the putting surface. As we mentioned, sitting at 4 under for the championship, 5 shots ahead of Josh Williams, but you still have to really strategize your way around this golf course, and then you add on top of that the wind. Again, another flighted ball there. And that one looks to be long and a bit left. So again, some of these yardages playing difficult there. Does appear it was on the putting surface, but he'll have a bit of a bit of a way here to get that down, even for par from that position. I think he would take that.
Well, that putt is from here to downtown Chicago. That's about 80 feet, I think. The wind is kind of, it's mostly dead downwind, but the wind is pushing left a little bit on that hole and may have affected the Thomas tee shot. Now Postilion coming off a very nice par at 14.
Yeah, Postilion sitting at fourth currently in the overall men's division, but currently first place in the G1 sports classification, has a 5-shot lead over Mark's system. So leading in one of the categories here for Postilion. Making sure the hat stays on through the swing there.
Also looks a little bit left.
Yeah, judging from his reaction, didn't seem too thrilled with that. As we just reiterate, this wind is going to play havoc here down the stretch. Forecasts show it is gusting up to 25 miles an hour. So,
All right, while we wait for the competitors to get to the green, let's check in again with Casey Richards.
Max Togisala, back-to-back G10 champion at the Chicago Adaptive Open. Max, what does it mean to repeat?
It feels amazing. I'm very happy right now, and just, for the weather that we had, it was kind of chilly this day, but I'm happy with how I played.
How did this year's event compare to last year's from your perspective?
I would say weather-wise was definitely a big factor of difference, and then I feel like there was a lot more people this year. I mean, a lot of more volunteers out here, and it was a blast seeing everything.
Any PB&J and Dorito sandwiches to celebrate, or?
Of course. I'm so glad you guys got that. It's hilarious. It's so good.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Back to you guys in the studio.
Tim, you were talking about having one of those, weren't you?
I was. If I'm being honest, I haven't yet. Maybe we'll have a couple there with Max afterwards. But while we have a moment, I want to thank First Place Rental for their assistance this week in supporting the 3rd Chicago Adaptive Open. We appreciate their continued support of this event.
Now, Max was talking about the numbers of people here at the golf course. He's right. The volunteer crew is much bigger, and the field is bigger than it was last year. 2 years ago at Cog Hill, we had barely 50 competitors, and now we're all the way up to 84, and it's a tournament that sure looks like it's going to grow as time goes on.
For more on these putts upcoming here, let's take it out to Eric Ciotti.
Guys, all 3 of these putts are really going to test these players. Jordan's going to be first to putt. He's got some 60 or 70 feet coming back down the hill. The biggest challenge is as the putt is breaking left to right, it's going to be running away from him downwind. So he's going to have to play this thing way out to the left, some 10 or 12 feet at least, and then let the wind ride it kind of down the slope as it gets closer to the hole.
Appreciate Eric's insight there. And again, lengthy putts. You add on the final few holes of this championship. You add on the wind. I mean, it's gusting. Definitely will play a bit of a factor on these putts. I wouldn't be surprised. But Dan, you mentioned just the sheer amount of people out here. And while we do have a moment, I want to thank all of the volunteers and the people that have put this on from the staff. And everybody here as well continue to echo that throughout the rest of this round. But Jordan Thomas from some 90 feet.
A beautifully judged putt for distance and for line. That putt broke about 3 feet over the last 6 feet that it traveled. And a pretty makeable par effort coming up for Jordan Thomas. That's what champions do right there.
When you talk about lag putting and you look up lag putting, I think you're going to see something like that in the dictionary. That was impressive. This Postilion now with another lengthy putt.
This one should be very quick at the end, judging by the break on Thomas's putt. Settle. Well, it stayed on the green. That was tough to judge from all the way up there with a lot of break and a lot of downhill. So Postilion has plenty of work to do to make his par, and now we'll see what Josh Williams can do.
Yeah, that one was quick coming down. As you said, we saw with Thomas's. I think the only saving grace there for Postilion is that he's going to have an uphill putt there to look at his par attempt. But Williams, again, is going to break from his left to right and looking to judge it the same way Thomas did.
This is for back-to-back birdies and to get yet a little closer to the leader, Jordan Thomas. Pretty good putt, just a little bit short. That's another one, Tim, you don't want to be too crazy with in terms of pace, because you get by the hole on this one, it's going to go. Well, you saw Postillion's ball, how far it rolled past, and that one taking the break would do about the same thing if you hit it a little bit too hard. So well judged again.
Yeah, I think he saw both of his playing competitors' putts, both Thomas's and Postillion's, right? Thomas lagging that up there to within tap in, and then saw how quickly a putt like that could get away from you, like with Postillion. So good job by Williams. Postillion still can save par here with this uphill putt. And that one was powered back up the hill, just past. Got a few feet there for bogey there for Victor.
I don't believe he lost his turn.
So as we mentioned, Victor currently sitting in 4th place in the men's overall, but still a sports classification title up for grabs as well. So important for him to stay in it. And a good bogey save there for Victor. Nice to see him roll that one in.
Terrific 2-putt right there for Thomas. I mean, that is really good.
Yeah, from some 90 feet and able to get that down in 2. Quite impressive from our leader. Now Williams to keep pace.
Another solid par. Josh Williams makes it. Both he and Thomas are 2 under for the day. Thomas leading by 4 strokes. And we're down to 3 holes to play. So it's looking pretty good for Jordan Thomas, our first round leader. And we will be back with more here from Fox Bend in just a moment.
Golf in Chicago is more than a game. It's a legacy, one that connects generations, builds character, and brings people together. For more than 110 years, the Chicago District Golf Association has protected the game and expanded who gets to play it. Because golf isn't just about the score, it's about the people. Learn more at cdga.org.
Back with you for the 3rd Chicago Adaptive Open here at Fox Bend. While we have a moment for these final 3 holes, I want to give a shout out to Christina's Grill and Gathering here at Fox Bend for their support of the event, as well as Nadler Golf Carts for supplying some much needed carts and use of their equipment throughout the weekend. So thank you to Nadler and Christina's. As the final group looks to hit their tee shots on this par 4 16th, 352 yards. Williams has the big stick and the honor.
This hole should provide some birdie chances in this group in particular, especially since the bunkers are out of play. You really have to negotiate the sand on a normal day on this course. The green is well bunkered. There are some fairway traps as well. But again, playing lift clean in place and ground under repair in the bunkers in a Terrific shot by Williams right down the middle. Once again, Thomas taking no time on the tee.
With driver.
Yeah, which he has not used on all these par fours, and hit a good one there. A little bit to the left, but not in bad shape at all.
Last to play here, Victor Postilion again. Part of that Team Illinois as part of the Click Pearl Cup. And when we chatted with him yesterday, just said that the team event is a lot of fun, right? There's a lot of good camaraderie, not only within each state's team, but also the people competing across the states as well. So it adds another dynamic to the tournament in this very individual sport. So appreciate Victor not only competing this week, but being part of Team Illinois as part of the Click Pearl Cup.
Yeah, the Click Pearl Cup is great, I think. And, you know, it was just Illinois and Arizona last year. And then, you know, word got out and people thought, well, you know, I wouldn't mind being in that. So we have teams this year from Michigan and Indiana, as well as the other two. And this, Tim, seems like something that's going to grow too over time.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, as you mentioned, a new format, something to add to this championship as well. So, and excited to see how this progresses moving forward.
All right, let's check in again with Casey.
Illinois' own Matt Parker, champion of the G6 sports classification, grew up in Lamont, now live in Wakanda. What does it mean to win your classification in your home state adaptive open?
Yeah, this is awesome. It's a great honor. I'm so thankful to the CDGA and all the sponsors here. It's just great to be able to play in adaptive tournaments.
I know you're very passionate about Still's disease. Can you go into a little bit of details about what that entails and everything like that?
Yeah, it's a rare it's a rare autoinflammatory disease, and so it's affected my joints in many different ways. And it's just awesome to be able to play adaptive golf, compete again in golf tournaments. So I'm just a big advocate for that and show people that have rare diseases that, you know, there's life after that too.
Absolutely. Well, it's inspiring to watch you play, and thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Dan, Tim, back to you.
Congrats to Matt Parker from Wakanda, Illinois, champion in his classification, G6. As we give you another look at number 16 here, the par 4. Victor Postilion, second shot already away. We'll see how Vic did as he heads back to the cart.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Vic topped his tee ball there. So first to play from the rough between the fairway and tee boxes there. And as you mentioned, just again, congratulations to Matt Parker for claiming his sports classification. As these players get into position. Again, Dan, stop me if you've heard this before. We've got 82 yards in for Jordan, and we've got 99 yards in for Josh. So
these guys have hit the same shots 3 of the last 4 holes and have done a pretty good job with them as well. So Williams' shot is perfect. Exactly where you want to be on this hole. Left side of the fairway with a great angle in.
And as you mentioned, even though Thomas was left, should have a pretty good angle in. And as we've thanked a lot of our sponsors, we really have to thank Fox Bend Golf Course for committing to this championship long-term and helping us this week in terms of getting all these players out here and safe amidst the weather, the debris, things of that nature. Thank you to Lou Ramadani. Thank you to Bob Kolstedt in terms of the superintendents and the maintenance of the facility. Just passed with flying colors this weekend, and nice to see it shine, as well as want to give a thanks to Bionic for their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open, as well as Williams here really wanting to judge this shot in. As we mentioned, just 99 yards in.
Really giving it a long look. He has a terrific angle here. This pin is 17 from the front and 10 from the right. So being there on the left side of the fairway gives him a really good look at it.
We've seen him able to flight some of these wedges and get them to stop on the green. Going to need that here on the par 4 16th.
This green, again, has a pretty good slope from back to front, so you don't want to spin it too much.
That one just short and right of that green. I think he'd take that again. Don't want to put yourself in too many of these difficult positions, and I think he'd take that for a chance to get up and down for pars. A difficult shot here for Thomas on an upslope. It's going to be challenging with the wind. He's got it about 82 yards in.
You know, Tim, I don't know how many of these tee sheets I've read over the course of my golfing career, but I certainly misread that one. I was looking at a different hole. 16 is 10 on and 12 off, or 12 off the front and 10 off the left, and a great shot by Thomas. And that one might just wrap things up for the first round leader, Jordan Thomas. Great look at birdie there, already leading by 4 shots and just a couple of holes left to play.
As we've mentioned, just seems to be in complete control of his game, right? We've seen him with not only play fast in terms of pace, but immediate tee pickups on the tees. He's fighting his wedges. We saw that lag putt there on 15 in terms of just judging pace. He found some things, not that he really needed to yesterday, but found some things on the range and seems to be in prime position to take the overall title.
Yeah, the only loose shot he's really hit was that tee shot at the par 3 12th when he just misclubbed and hit it right over the top of the flagstick.
Yep.
Beyond that, everything else has been spot on, and it's been a great day for him, and certainly looks like he's marching toward a championship.
Yeah, and as Victor looks to hit his third shot here, I want to give an appreciation to DeWalt for their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open, a relatively new partner, and we appreciate their presence here this week. As we mentioned, Postilion still in a tie for fourth, currently at +5, but is leading his sports classification as of now. So still a lot to play for Victor.
Yeah, has a pretty healthy lead in that division too, so he's relatively safe there. Certainly like to get up and down for par here, though.
That one just on the front portion of the green. Again, this win just playing a pivotal role in the outcome of this championship. Difficult for each competitor. It's just a matter of who can judge it the best.
You know, I think as a rule, the crosswind shots are the toughest shots, but we've had a lot of these have been straight downwind, especially moving in this direction the last couple of holes. But, you know, that wind can carry your ball. It can also knock it down, and I think that may be what happened with the second shot of Josh Williams here. You have to imagine he had enough club to get it past pin and wound up just a little bit short of the green.
As you mentioned, we saw him step off there a little bit. So just as much as a physical game this is, it's a mental game as well of just keeping yourself in the right mindset, excuse me. As you see there in the bottom right of your screen, the overall leaderboard, Williams sitting 4 shots back of Jordan Thomas, Issa Lareb and Ford Martin. Issa's at +3, Ford's at +5, and then Matt Snowden and Victor Postilion also joined Ford at +5. So Williams now.
Very well done by Williams. Used the lofted wedge there from just off the edge and did a terrific job with it. Should be able to save par from there. Let's check in with Eric at Greenside.
Has just been a huge advantage for Jordan the last couple holes. You know, having just 80 some odd yards into a lot of these par 4s makes such a huge difference. But he looks, like you said, Tim, in complete control of his game. He's hit a number of good drives. Wedge play has been pretty good for the most part. So it's been really just a solid round of golf, solid 2 rounds of golf, all things considered.
Yeah, and Dan, as you mentioned, even when he got in a little bit of trouble on 12 there over the green, just a misjudge or a missed club there, limiting the damage and moving on, right? And he's just been on top of it, as Eric mentioned, not only today but yesterday as well. So, a couple more shots here to hit before he would claim a title. But still, as much as we've come down to the wire here, there's still a bit of golf left to be played and some things to sort out.
Yeah, I think that up and down for par at 12 was probably as impressive as that lag putt was the last hole.
Especially given the hole location there, right? It's up and then it's down on the backside. So Postilion now looking to lag this up, if not make it.
Oh, got a piece. Just on the high side. Caught the edge, but would not fall. I think Victor's going to put a mark on that one and clean that up for bogey. Back-to-back bogeys for Victor Postilion. And now our leader putting for birdie to go 3 under for the day and 5 under for the event. This one looks to be about 8 or 9 feet. Again, quick player. And there it is. Jordan Thomas showing us some skills here this afternoon at Fox Bend. Moves to 3 under par for the day, 5 under par for the tournament, and now leads by 5 with only 2 holes yet to play.
Yeah, had a birdie, just one birdie and one bogey on the front 9, and I think he was just waiting for us to go live here on the back 9 to show us some of these birdies. So now 3, as you mentioned, on 10, 13, and now 16 to take a commanding lead through these final 2 holes.
Good par save there for Josh Williams, and we'll have Victor clean up his bogey putt, but wow, Jordan Thomas.
First time competing here, and as we talked yesterday, just mentioned that he, peer pressure and wanted to come out, and he's a huge proponent of this adaptive golf community and had heard the feedback of this event and wanted to be part of it. So we're appreciative of him being here, and I think he's appreciative of being here as well, as he's sitting atop the leaderboard.
And Victor able to save his bogey. So as this final group moves to the penultimate hole here at Fox Bend, we will step aside and return with more golf in just a moment.
At Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, orthopedic care is what we do. It's all we do. With decades of experience, our physicians, surgeons, and therapists deliver personalized care for bones, joints, muscles, and more. And when injuries happen, our Ortho Access walk-in clinics are here to help. From diagnosis to rehab, IBJI is your trusted partner for complete orthopedic care.
Welcome back to Fox Bend Golf Course here in Oswego, Illinois, as we approach the final 2 holes of this championship, and we get an overhead look at the par 4 17th. A relatively short par 4, Dan, just 265 for the players today.
Got a lot in it, though. 265, probably doable for Williams and for Thomas. I don't know about Postilion, but with a 5-shot lead, Thomas is not even thinking about a driver on this hole. Laid it up in the fairway with an iron. He'll have an easy approach in to this short par 4.
And as Williams gets set up, just want to thank Ally for their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open this year. I appreciate them benefiting the adaptive golf community. As you see there, it looks like Thomas's ball might be just on the left side of the fairway there, as it kind of goes to the right towards that green over some water. But looks like Williams also has an iron here of some kind, maybe a longer iron, but just put something in play and go in from there.
Trailing by 5 and at 265, I'm kind of surprised he's not going with something a little bigger. This is one of those holes where if you hit it at the barber pole in the middle with a little draw for the left-hander, you have a chance to get it on the green. You don't have to fly it there. You can roll it on. But he laid up as well in the fairway. Thomas, he just hit too much club. If he was trying for a layup, he just hit it through the fairway.
Yeah.
But he's got a good angle, though.
Curious if Williams was more of a reaction than a proactive approach, right? Although what we've seen with Thomas playing out of the rough has been pretty impressive so far. Maybe seeing Thomas's ball in the rough and maybe dialing it back a bit. But to your point, there's only so many shots left to make up.
Now, as I look at this tee sheet again, 23 on from the front and 8 off the right. So anything left here is pretty good. Give you a little bit more green to work with and a better angle.
Yeah, yet another green guarded by bunkers. There's some water in play, short right.
Victor laying up just like his playing partners here, and he's also in good shape. These will be fun approaches to watch because this green slopes so much from front to back, which from where the players are will be from left to right. So you don't want to get anything rolling very fast toward the front of this green because it will roll off and get down there close to the hazard.
A relatively small green, but the farther left you are, as you said, better approach. And as we said, that water could play an effect, but looks like everybody took that out and played well left and or in the fairway.
Yeah, so essentially this pin today is back right.
Yes.
As you look at it from the tee box.
While these players walk up to their approaches, I want to thank Home Depot for their support of the event here just nearby off the 12th and 13th holes here at Fox Bend. Appreciate their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open. As well as Culver's. Want to appreciate them for their help and sponsorship this year, and their supplying of some custard on Friday for the Pro-Am. So appreciate Culver's support of the Chicago Adaptive Open.
I missed that. Do you think if I go across the street to Culver's, I can grab one, Tim?
I'm sure Lou's got some stuck in some fridge somewhere in here that we
probably
can
does.
get into, but I had to hold myself to just one on Friday. But as Williams looks to get his approach in here. And as we mentioned, taking that water completely out of play, I'm going to throw it back to that right back portion of the green here.
What do you think he has, about 80 yards?
Yeah, it seems similar. If I were to guess, it would be probably 80-some yards.
Very well negotiated.
Happy with
Josh
that one
Williams.
for sure.
Yeah, really good. And that leaves him an uphill putt, certainly very makeable for birdie.
As Postilion looks to get back on track here after dropping a shot or two on the last few holes.
See if he can finish strong. This hole on the par 5 18th yet to come. Oh, yeah. Good grab on that shot. Well done by Victor Postilion. Another good look at birdie.
So they've had pretty similar yardages in for both Jordan and Josh on these last few holes, and it wouldn't be one of these last few holes if they weren't the same yardage. So getting word from the course that it was about 65 yards for each Jordan and Josh. Again, just these controlled little pitch wedges in to these greens. Good showing by both Victor and Josh to get those up pin high and to get them to stop on these greens.
All right, second shot for our leader. Or third shot, I should say. Second shot a little bit deep. That's his chip, and he'll have that much left for par. Right now, let's check in with Eric.
Well, Dan, with this, we might have some technical difficulties, so we'll wait to get Eric back on the line here as these players come down the stretch. But
I hope he didn't slip and fall in the pond
or fly away at this rate. But as you mentioned, it looks like Jordan went long over that green and then chipped back up to some 10 to 15 feet. So a little bit of those nerves and stress kicking in a little bit as we head down the approach here at Fox Bend.
All right, let's check in with Eric. He's at greenside.
Yeah, guys, Jordan's not going to be pleased if he ends up walking away with a bogey on this hole. I know at this point the individual race here for overall champion is pretty much academic, but he was not pleased with that second shot going long of the green. Victor Postilian hit a great shot from the fairway, checked it up nicely. This putt is about as easy as you could possibly want, just straight up the hill and a little bit right to left.
Glad to see Eric didn't fly away and or fall into the lake. Appreciate that insight.
You know, I had this putt in the Pro-Am the other day. It's a little bit deceptive. Yeah, it just doesn't break as much as you think it does. It certainly looks like a left or right to left putt, but it was almost dead straight or even a little bit the other way. But fortunately for Josh Williams, he got a good teach from Victor on that putt and should have a little better idea of how to negotiate it. This for par. And there you go.
Yeah, so a bogey there for Postilian as that short one kind of rimmed in and out. Unfortunate to see with our, as we mentioned, runner-up finisher from last year. Still well on top of the G1 sports classification. So still something to play for coming down 18, but we'll go back our focus now on Jordan Thomas, our overnight leader and current leader.
His tee ball going through the fairway cost him. We didn't get a chance to see his approach, but I'm assuming that ball landed on the green somewhere near the pin and just didn't have any spin, so it kicked off, and the chip was not his best. So he'll have a chance here to knock this in and save par. Leading by 5 at the moment, and still by 5 as he knocks it in again for par. They can't touch this guy,
nope,
Tim.
Nope. Even when, like, as we mentioned, 12 and now 17, he gets in a little bit of trouble. You think he's kind of maybe slip. I mean, that was a no doubt putt right there.
So Josh Williams for birdie to get to -3 for the day and 1 under for the tournament. Well done. Beautiful putt there for birdie. Williams happy with that one. Having said all that, though, he's treading water, right? Still 3 shots, 3 under par, but still 4 shots behind as we send it back out to the golf course and Casey Richards.
Dawson Thompson, champion of the G14 sports classification, carding an even par 72 today. Quite the round out there for you today in these conditions. What was working well for you?
Struck the ball well. Putting compared to yesterday, it's way better, but just kept myself out of trouble and just kept on going.
Again, champion of your sports classification. What does that honor mean to you?
It's my first one ever since playing adaptive golf, so it's good to get the first one out the way. It really means a lot.
You're from Mississippi, coming up to Chicago for this event. What was that travel like? What was the experience like?
It was a straightaway flight. Couldn't complain about it. It's perfect. Weather was pretty good. Other than today, it's a little windy, but I enjoyed it.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
Dan, Tim?
All right, Casey, thanks very much. Congratulations to Dawson Thompson. We watched him play over on the 12th hole. And even par 72 for him today.
Impressive
Terrific
round.
Score.
Yeah, impressive round as you get an overhead look here of the finisher at Fox Bend.
The tee shot is protected to some degree by the creek that runs through the middle of the fairway here. I would say that Thomas and Williams both have the length to get it to the creek. So I'd be shocked if they were hitting a driver. They're probably going to club down a little bit here and lay it up in the fairway and then move on from there at this closing par 5.
Yeah, last year we saw this hole not once but twice as part of that playoff, and seems that Jordan Thomas will be far and away the top of this leaderboard. But while we have a moment, want to thank Grand Dental for their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open, a newer partner this spring and summer, and we appreciate them being part of this event.
You know, the course was faster and firmer last year, Tim, but I think Ford Martin hit like 8-iron into this par 5.
Yeah, and as Williams looks to get his tee ball in play, also want to thank Great Clips for being out here. Had some barber chairs on the first hole during the Pro-Am. We're giving out some cuts and trims, so we appreciate them being on site here this weekend. Looks like Williams will be first to play.
Coming off that nice birdie at 17. He's really played well these last few holes.
He's played well, but I think it's just, one of those rounds where your playing partner plays just a little bit better.
Fairway metal. Taking a long look at it, but this fairway's very generous up to the creek, so I'm sure that he's in good position.
Thomas now, again, as we've discussed, just navigate these last few holes. Don't really drop a shot. Don't make any mistakes. And looks like he's got a bit of a driving iron here to just put this ball in play. You play that fast, don't you, Dan?
I do, to my own detriment most of the time, Tim.
No pace of play issues there.
Slow down a little bit.
When you're in the zone, you're in the zone. As Victor Postilian will look to put a fairway metal in play here as well.
Don't know whether or not the players here are taking this into consideration at this point in time, but they're hitting the ball off the tee into the lowest part of the golf course, and it's definitely the wettest part of the golf course, so there won't be any rollout on any of these shots.
Yeah, as you mentioned, this creek running across the beginning portion of this fairway.
Looked like Vic caught that one well.
As this final group approaches the 18th fairway, just want to give a shout out to, as we've mentioned along this broadcast, a lot of people involved with putting on this event. We've mentioned CGN and the streaming here. We appreciate their assistance. All of our volunteers. We've got Tim Robinson and Mike Gilligan on the CDGA staff who have spearheaded this tournament and built it in to what it is today. Volunteers. Tom Marsh is the chair of the volunteer committee, so I want to thank him and his efforts in getting all of the player assistants out there and helping these players feel as great as they can throughout the weekend. So in terms of thanking people as well, I want to send it back out to Casey Richards. As we mentioned, the Click Pearl Cup, and Casey's with part of that Click Pearl Cup founding.
Pearl, co-founder of the Click Pearl Cup team competition that we've been spotlighting throughout the course of the event. Started with 2 teams in Arizona in December. Now we've had 4 teams here at the Chicago Adaptive Open. What's it meant to you to see that expansion so quickly?
Well, that is exactly what we're trying to do, is develop team competition for these wonderful athletes. And the fact that we doubled the number, and while we're out here, we found that Georgia is going to be having a team next year, and we hope to have more.
Well, that's great. Very closely contested iteration here. Looks like Arizona atop the leaderboard right now, but what have you observed overall from the state of the play these last couple days?
Well, they're all wonderful, wonderful athletes, and we're just proud to be part of it. And to see these athletes come in and shoot even par, a couple over par, it's just wonderful.
All right, well, thank you very much for your support. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey, and thanks to Steve Pearl and his fellow co-founder Jim Click for getting this team competition together. And as Steve just said, Georgia will join the fray next year, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised, Tim, if we have more than one addition when we move into 2027.
Yeah, we'll take a quick look at the leaderboard, as Casey mentioned, but want to take a quick respite to thank Imperial Headwear for their support this week, as well as Jersey Mike's, a longtime supporter of the CDGA. We appreciate them being on site here this week and helping us put on this event. But as you mentioned, 4 teams in the Click Pearl Cup this year. Team Arizona currently leading at plus 50 total to par. That's multiple people as part of that team. We've got Team Michigan just behind them at plus 52. We've got Team Illinois at plus 56, as well as Team Indiana at plus 58. So tightly contested battle across those teams as we go back to 18 and Victor Postilion playing just ahead of that creek from the tee box. As Victor gets that on the far side of the creek, back into the play on 18, just inside the rubber pole there.
You know, back to the cup, you're going to have a talk with Thomas Duffy, your intern, playing for Team Illinois. Didn't win on a home track.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'll let you be the one to talk about that, because I'm sure he's not the outcome he wanted. But again, all in good fun and bragging rights and things of that nature. So happy to have Thomas here playing this week and part of the association moving on this summer and into the fall, as we said again.
Man,
ready to play and not taking any time or chances as Thomas hits his second shot there, moves Little Earth, cleans up the club, and I think he's going to have another flip wedge in here. I could be wrong here, but looks like those shots are going to be par 5 here to finish.
Josh Williams' ball had not stopped rolling when Jordan hit his second
And the weather's
shot.
all out of the way. There's no need to chase it, but we go up to the green here on 18 with the group in front of them. Issa Lorette there on the right side of your screen. We've got Ford Martin, last year's champion, and Matt Snowden from Annapolis, Maryland. Also want to thank Wintrust for their support of not only the CDGA and the CDGA Foundation, but this event as a whole. So appreciate them, as well as Wadsworth Golf Charities Foundation, an instrumental part in the Chicago district, the construction of this golf course, and putting on this event as a whole. So appreciate Wadsworth help.
Fox Bend is 76 years old, I think, when it first started with its opening 9 back in 1950. And the golf course is getting better and better every year with more improvements on the calendar set to come. A great place to come out and play, and a public venue. So anybody who wants to come out here and take it on for themselves, you're more than welcome to do so. Terrific greens here, fun layout to play. Very accommodating and welcoming staff, so you'd have a great time here at Fox Bend.
Yeah, proud partner of the CDGA in this event. CDGA members listening and watching receive a discount when they come out and play. So a fun track to play. I've had the privilege of getting around here as well. And as we see Issa's putt there, just cut across the lower edge there to the right. He'll tap in to finish out his 36th hole championship.
Esai had a good day today. He was 1 under for his round here on Sunday going into the 18th. I believe that was for par, which would put him at 75 after an opening round 71. So +2 for the event. Good playing.
As Matt Snowden taps in to finish out his championship.
And our defending champion, Ford Martin, who currently sits in a tie for 4th. I'm going to go ahead and speculate that this is for birdie.
Ford, a fellow native of Nashville, Tennessee, as is Jordan Thomas. Curious to see if these two have played any golf together. And the Chicago Adaptive Open is becoming the Nashville Adaptive Open at this point, it sounds like.
Nice finish there by Ford. Handshakes on the final green. Their tournament has ended, and we have 3 more players yet to go.
As he said, and Ford share a handshake there, as well as Snowden. Again, just going back to the camaraderie of this adaptive golf community. You know, we run high-level amateur championships, and we see golf across TV, but you may not see the camaraderie that you see out here, maybe anywhere else.
Victor Postillion, his final full shot of the tournament, 3rd shot here at the par 5.
Tee ball away, looked like it was going towards that bunker on the right. Again, ground under repair, but as you see there on the bottom right of your screen, fast playing Jordan Thomas with a 4-shot lead over Josh Williams for the men's overall title. And what will surely be yet another couple of flip wedges in here on this par 5. We'll be interested to see and hear from Jordan after the round on how the wind played a factor and his thoughts on the championship. But in talking with him yesterday, just seemed like an easygoing guy, happy to be here, as a lot of the competitors are, but seemed to be in a really good headspace, happy with his game. As we've discussed, a major proponent of not only adaptive golf, but adaptive prostheses and things of that nature. So looking forward to hearing his thoughts after the round.
Nice safe shot, almost dead pin high, just left. That left for birdie.
A little poetic that his last full shot is a controlled wedge, as Josh Williams here will be the next to play, representing Canada. As we've discussed, Dan, he's played this back 9 well. He's played this final round well. It's just you run into a little bit of a buzzsaw with Jordan Thomas.
He was even par on the front. It's 3 under par for his last 7 holes and 3 under on the back and for the day. His approach a little bit long and a bit to the right.
Nevertheless, on the putting surface, as Victor looks to survey the situation here, we'll get a look and see if he's actually in that bunker, or regardless, we'll play it out of the bunker. So hoping to see Victor finish strong here. As we mentioned, a runner-up in last year's edition, but happy to be here. A large proponent of adaptive golf in this area, and while he looks to play his chip in here, we would be remiss if we didn't thank Illinois Bone and Joint Institute one more time for their support, not only as presenting sponsor, but being here on site, and some on-site activations and things of that nature. So appreciative of their support of this event and the CDGA as a whole. So thank you to IBJI. Delicate little chip here for Vic. We'll have to play it over the bunker, but should have plenty of green to work with once he gets it over the bunker and greenside.
Very nicely done. Getting better by the moment, and that one will be left for par. That's a good shot.
Yeah, I think he'd take that. He'd sign up for that, given the tee shot there, playing from the backside of the creek. Like to see Vic finish strong there.
It can't be easy. I mean, there are a lot of limitations on many of these players, but it can't be easy for Vic to work those crutches for 18 holes. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he were running out of gas just a little bit. He's bogeyed the last 3 holes, and certainly we hope he can get this down for par and finish strong here.
Yeah, not only the 36 holes today, but also the 18, as we mentioned earlier in the week, with the Illinois State Amateur Qualifier. And again, gives you a different perspective when you might be out on the golf course yourself, seeing how some of these players navigate their circumstances in the game as a whole. So, as you mentioned, reiterate that we just want to see Victor finish strong.
Before he attacks that putt, we've got a couple of birdie chances coming up.
Yeah, from opposite sides of the hole here.
I think Jordan Thomas will be able to get some knowledge from this putt. It's almost exactly on the same line, he and Josh Williams.
Yep. Yeah, the pin positioned hole location front of this green, just 8 paces on and 14 from the left. It's back right yesterday.
This one should have some speed to it as well, so gotta be careful.
Reminds me of those putts back on 15 where it's just kind of lagging it down, playing the break.
Look at this. Look
or
at this.
dropping it to the bottom of the cup.
Man.
That's just some superb golf from Josh Williams on the back 9. And again.
What a terrific putt. Man, Josh Williams killing it here on the back 9. 32 on the back after an opening 9 of even par. So a 68 today for Josh Williams on top of a 74 in the opening round gets him to the clubhouse at -2 for the event. Terrific playing by Josh Williams, the Canadian.
As you mentioned, just gave everything he could to Thomas here on the back 9, and Thomas took it and answered back. We'll see if he can answer yet again, but impressive play from Josh Williams this week.
Thomas makes this. It's 32 for him on the back. I don't think it's going to break quite that much.
And that's why you build a few stroke lead here on the last.
I think he could 6-putt and still win, so in pretty good shape. I think not very happy with himself after that.
As we mentioned, it's kind of, you get into a two-man battle there, and you almost want to just, you know, it kind of fires you up to answer, whether it's Williams answering Thomas or there. I think he really wanted to answer that Williams putt as well as just finish out the championship on a high note as well, right?
Would have been great to see him knock it in. But very impressive, Josh Williams on that backside.
Speaking of seeing putts go in, we'd love to see Vic here finish strong with a made putt here.
And a good up and down for Victor Pastilian to end his tournament. Here's another look at the putt by Williams. This is for his 5th birdie of the day, 4th on the backside. Perfectly judged speed and line.
Quite the compilation of footage he's accrued here on the back nine as our leader and champion here, Jordan Thomas, has claimed the men's overall title here at the 2026 Chicago Adaptive Open.
Ho hum. Drops it in for the par. Handshakes all around.
Wire to wire for Thomas in his first appearance in the event, hailing from Nashville, Tennessee.
Those 3 guys had some fun today.
That was some impressive golf, regardless of the circumstances, event name, whatever you want. A couple 32, 33s on the back, and that'll play around here for sure.
Hey, man, you have to hit it in the fairway, hit it on the green, and make the putt. It doesn't really matter what the golf course setup is like. You still have to play and play well, and those guys most definitely did. Both men shooting under par today, 68 for Williams and 69 for Thomas. That's not bad.
And even when we saw either of them get out of position, whether it was in the rough a bit, whether it was on a few of these approach shots over the green, they didn't let that hiccup get in their way and answered pretty strongly. So we look forward to speaking with Jordan Thomas here shortly. As you see Eric Ciotti from the CDGA here. He's joined on the green with our 2026 Chicago Adaptive Open winner, Jordan Thomas, finishing the event at 5 under par. Eric, take it away.
Thanks, guys. I'm with Jordan Thomas, the 2026 Chicago Adaptive Open champion. Jordan, I think you asked one of our crew members how you stood on the last couple holes. Did you have any idea where you were?
No, on 17 green is where I asked it because it wasn't really going to ultimately change my strategy at all. So it was nice to know where we were sort of on 18T. But, yeah, I'm just really pleased to get it done.
So I know you made a point to put this on your calendar. What was the reason for that?
It is unanimously the best adaptive golf tournament aside from the U.S. Open that we have on the calendar. So everybody loves it. I loved it, and I will be back next year.
So the experience overall, I mean, weather conditions, what are some of your takeaways from this weekend?
Yeah, I think the big one for me is I can play good golf with kind of my B game. I don't have to play perfect. I think if you can just kind of hang around, make a bunch of pars, and just hang in there, I think you can compete. So it's a lot of good momentum. This is my 4th straight win. Women's I've ever had the privilege of being around. Their stories are unbelievable. They have incredible game, and it is a family. I mean, it is a lot of the most important people in my life are people on this circuit.
Well, congratulations again, and hopefully we'll see you next year to defend your title.
I'll be here, I promise. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, buddy.
Congratulations.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks.
All right, send it back to you guys.
All right, Eric, thanks very much. Yeah, I'll bet he will be back next year. A really fun weekend for Jordan Thomas. Some terrific golf here at Fox Bend. Final round of 69 for our champion. Add that to 70 in the opening round. He winds up 5 under par for the event. A winner by 3 over Josh Williams.
Yeah, interesting to hear there that he really, was just curious to see where he stood on 17. And interesting to hear it didn't really change his strategy. I'm curious, whether he just wanted to know or if it was just, a question or passage of time there. But mentioned there, 4th straight win. I mean, he's been on a heater as of late, and we saw him yesterday as well as today. There wasn't really a slip up in his game at all.
Very impressive. That was quite fun to watch those guys play those final 6 holes.
Cool to see him drive by his fellow competitors, his crowd there. Nobody's really left this course yet. It'll be fun to see the after party, the ceremonies afterwards. That's what this game is all about, especially within the might need to change its name to the Nashville Adaptive Open with Ford Martin winning last year and now Jordan Thomas winning here as well. So while we discussed and talked with Jordan Thomas, we'd be remiss if we missed on the women's overall champion, Kim Moore, who has a couple of other championships under her belt, but adds the Chicago Adaptive Open, and she spoke with Casey Richards.
Kim Moore, the women's champion of the 2026 Chicago Adaptive Open, Kim, you're a two-time champion at the U.S. Adaptive Open level. What made you want to come compete here in Chicago this weekend?
It was pretty local as far as these tournaments go. So, quick little drive over here, and great field. So that was another reason.
You're from Indiana, so like you said, just one state over. What about the competition made it appealing to you, and what was the experience like for you?
Yeah, always looking for some prep going into a couple weeks at Woodmont. So I knew that this event would have a number of decent players that I could compete against. So yeah, that was the biggest reason, coming out here and having a good time, and again, enjoying the camaraderie, but also a good little prep for me.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations. We appreciate you coming, and we'll hope to see you next year as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, Dan and Tim, back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Casey, thank you very much. Congratulations to Kim. And I want to give a tip of the cap here to Dawson Thompson, playing in the short stature classification, who only shot even par 72 today, combining with his 78 in the opening round. He winds up +6 for the tournament in a tie for 4th overall. Terrific weekend for him, and at round of 72 in this wind, tied for 3rd lowest round of the day by anybody. Terrific playing by him, and really by all these players. The conditions weren't the easiest. Everybody battled through, and we have a couple of very solid players at the top of the men's division, headed by Jordan Thomas, who's our winner here in 2026. Well, that about wraps it up for us here from Fox Bend. Tim, it's been a pleasure. A lot of fun doing this afternoon, and I hope we can do it again next year.
Yeah, Dan, appreciate you being here. Just want to give a big shout out to CGN for their help in streaming this event. Again, all of the CDGA staff, volunteers, all of our sponsors and partners in putting on this event, the adaptive players themselves. And as we look to push towards these ceremonies, just want to point everybody in the direction of the cdga.org/adaptive open. That's going to have the recap video. That's going to have photo gallery, things of that nature. So stay tuned for a full recap after that. But for Dan Roan and Tim Merrick, this has been the 2026 Chicago Adaptive Open.